Hey everybody, it's Ryan Robinson again, bringing you a review of the Vaterra Kalahari. This is a 1/14 scale brushless four-wheel drive vehicle. Now, Vaterra modeled this vehicle after the real-world Desert Raiders, but in RC terms, you could easily call this a combination of a short course truck and a rally car, and I'm a really big fan of how they made this body. I love just the aerodynamic car slash truck look they got. It just turned out really well and did a really good job with all of the details and whatnot. Take off that sleek looking short course truck slash rally car body, what you'll find is this interesting little driver figure that's actually a dust cover. It's held in place by Velcro. Now, once you take off that dust cover, what's underneath is pretty much a stretched and widened Losi Mini 8. This car actually has a longer wheelbase than the Mini 8, and I believe it's also wider than the Losi Mini 8. The shocks on this vehicle are plastic, and they have plastic caps and plastic eyelets, and the stock suspension setup feels pretty good, both front and rear. Tires on this thing have a nice, sensible all-terrain tread, but they're kind of hard. That's either due to the rubber compound or the foam inserts. Foam inserts kind of feel a little stiff. To turn those wheels is a Dynamite Fuse 4500 kV brushless motor, and it's hooked up to a brushless ESC that is compatible for up to a 3S LiPo. Has a EC3 connector to it. Has a adjustable slipper clutch down in there. The entire drivetrain is metal and it rides on ball bearings. The receiver is a Spectrum unit, not sure what it's called. The servo is a mini size servo, so finding upgrades should be pretty easy. And all of the camber links are plastic, as well as the toe links. Another thing about the electronics in this car is that they are all waterproof. The controller is a Spectrum DX2L. It only uses 4 AA's, which are included in the package. Some of the features it has dual rate, your throttle trim, your steering trim, a ROS button, your on and off switch, steering reversing, your throttle reversing, your bind button, and it has your endpoints both for throttle and your steering. It also has this nice little throttle limiter. You can toggle it between low, which is 50%, medium, 75%, and high, which is 100%. Wheel has this nice little, has a pretty good feel to it, although kind of little on the stiff side. It also has a little port here on the side where you can mount for your, where you can put your little bind plug. Very nice, very convenient, and again, it just feels really good. It's light, it's well balanced in the hand. I'm a really big fan of this radio. The battery that is included is a SpeedPack 7.2 volt nickel metal hydride battery, 1200 milliamps, and to charge that battery, they give you a peak charger. Some other items that are also in the package are 2 extra spur gears, a T-wrench that's made of plastic and not metal, a wrench to adjust your slipper clutch, some Allen tools, I'm not really sure what that is, and some preload clips to adjust your ride height. Now, before I show you some driving footage, I do want to point out that you will get to see the Vaterra Kalahari running on the included nickel metal hydride battery pack, as well as the Vaterra Kalahari running on a Venom 1300 milliamp 20C 3S LiPo. So here's the Vaterra Kalahari running the included battery on low speed. At this speed, it kind of feels like a brushed vehicle. Once you flick it up into high speed, you're looking at a top speed of around 24-25 miles per hour. And if you're thinking about getting this is your first RC car, it's not that bad. Now, on the subject of that little battery, I will mention that the peak charger does work. Actually, let it work and charge the battery just fine. But after a while, you might be wanting a little bit more speed. Here's the Vaterra Kalahari with more speed. This is how fast the car will go on a 3S LiPo. So its top speed now is about maybe upper 30s, lower 40s, mid 40s. Now, on the subject of running on a 3S, if you do decide to get a 3S battery, you will want to adjust your slipper clutch. That way, all that excess power won't totally destroy the 1/14th scale drivetrain in here. Right now, this is the car on medium throttle, 75% power, and out here on road, it's actually quite fun, and it should be able to get around an on-road track just fine. Speaking of which, here's the Vaterra Kalahari back to stock battery speeds driving around a track. The included traction gives you a ton of body roll. So if you're somebody looking for a realistic driving experience, you will love this. If you are a competitive on-road racer, then the body roll this thing has in this track will probably drive you crazy. Now, again, as your driving skills improve, you're going to want 3S LiPo speed. And here it is, the Vaterra Kalahari driving around the exact same track on a 3S LiPo. The speed is unbelievable, and the body roll is also amplified because you're getting so much speed through turns. Speaking of speed, watch this. Down this straightaway, it becomes a virtual white missile. Quite a few times whenever I was driving down that straightaway, I actually smashed into that wall. And here it is again, only this time it's running at 75% power, and it's not as fast, but you do gain more handling. When you run the Vaterra Kalahari on-road at 50% power, you still get quite a lot of speed, but also your handling is about as good as you can ask for. It's very controllable, very predictable, and just all around really fun to drive. The tires on this surface work very well. They provide quite a lot of grip, but they have that all-terrain style tread, which makes it seem like this vehicle will be good at some off-roading. Like this. This actually kind of surprised me. I didn't really expect these tires to perform that well on an off-road surface, but they actually hook up pretty nicely. If you're just going to drive this thing out in your front yard or something, then you will love the Vaterra Kalahari because it has the ability to throw up rooster tails of dust and kind of just drift all around. It'll go over grass, it'll go over dirt, it'll go over really rough grass. It's just amazing the different types of surfaces you can drive on. Now, this is again on that nickel metal battery. Now here it was feeling kind of sluggish. Now granted, I did let it sit for about 30 minutes to an hour before my mom helped me film this. But again, as you become more familiar with the car, you are going to want more speed. So here's more speed. I put the 3S battery back in here, and this is how the car will handle off-road if you decide to run it on the medium throttle setting on your controller. And again, with the extra power, it becomes a lot easier to drift and things like that, and it's just a lot of fun. I really enjoy driving it on off-road over again all the grass and the dirt with the extra power. It just really livened up the car and just had a great time with it. Next, I decided to take the Vaterra Kalahari to the next level and put it on a 1/10 scale off-road track. This is the indoor clay track at Mike's Hobby Shop in Carrollton, Texas. And I switched back to the nickel metal hydride battery just to give you an idea of just how this thing will handle with the included battery. Out here, it was pretty fun, but against like 1/10 scale vehicles, it kind of struggles. It'll keep up, but again, runtime isn't that great. So in order to keep up with everybody else, you're going to want more. So here's more. I put the 3S battery back in here and ran it on medium throttle, and it had no trouble getting around this 1/10 scale track with the extra power. Coming up here, watch it, that the jump we were struggling to clear earlier, now it clears it just fine, no problem. But again, the tires didn't really hook up, so it was skating around a little bit, but I don't know, to me, it was actually kind of more fun to drive this way. So, now let's say you're asking, okay Ryan, that's great, you can drive it on-road, you can drive it off-road, but what if you don't have an off-road track, or you don't really have a place to run it off-road? Thankfully, since this is a 1/14 scale vehicle, that means that you can drive it in smaller areas. This is just a little patch of open space I had in the garage at my house, and it's actually kind of fun getting it to drift around on this kind of slick concrete surface. This is something you can't really do with 1/10 scale vehicles, which is why this was actually kind of appealing to me, just so that way I could have something to drive it indoors. But in general, if you have just like an open living room, then you'll be able to drive this thing just fine. Although I wouldn't really recommend running a 3S in here. I would recommend running the include nickel metal hydride, just so it'll be more controllable. So, you've seen the Vaterra Kalahari driving on-road, you've seen the car driving off-road, you've seen it driving on an on-road track, you've seen the Vaterra Kalahari driving on an off-road track. So I bet the question y'all are asking is, how durable is the Vaterra Kalahari? Well, throughout the entire process of filming this, my friend got a lot of footage of me crashing this Vaterra Kalahari, and through all of the unintentional abuse that happened to this thing, nothing failed on it. Not one part. Not even during all of these cartwheels and tumbles and all this other stuff. Now, since we're on the subject of durability, this is the Vaterra Kalahari driving on the 1/8 scale track at Mike's Hobby Shop in Carrollton, Texas. Now, remember, this car is 1/14 scale. This track is designed for 1/8 scale vehicles. That means that this track is designed for vehicles that are twice the size of this little bitty four-wheel drive miniature rally slash vehicle, whatever. And it actually did okay out here. I mean, I never landed any jump correctly, but nothing broke. Taking the 1/8 scale durability experiment further, I decided to flip the car up on high speed and take that big jump. And even after it landed on all four wheels, nothing broke. Then this happened. Yeah, I thought the battery compartment would be flooded with water, but thankfully it wasn't. The included dust cover protected the LiPo battery and the waterproof electronics from getting a whole lot of water on them. I was really happy about that because I didn't want that water to just completely destroy my pack. Summing things up, the Vaterra Kalahari is A+ material, and I highly recommend it to anyone looking to buy this vehicle. And it's only like $118 to $150. It's a really great value for all people, whether you're just getting into the hobby or you've been in the hobby for many, many years. So that wraps up this review. Thank you very much for watching. I want to say a special thank you to David Spates, who helped me film most of this and helped me drive to Mike's Hobby Shop, and also to my mom, who helped me film this, and also to my parents, who are getting this for me for Christmas. So that's it for this review. Thank you very much for watching.